Hello, this segment is on speeding up new product development process and bringing products to the market rapidly. It's also focused on measuring firm innovativeness and the innovativeness of individuals. Research has been performed that suggests there are certain elements and factors involved with the speed in which products are brought to market during the new product development process. First and foremost, if an organization or a firm has created a product innovation charter and it's clearly stated and then clearly followed, this allows the firm to focus on their activities and stay focused on where they are going with their product design and so forth. Also, being able to allow what we call the fuzzy gate process, where we're allowing a product to move forward in the product development process. However, the product still may be engaged in another product stage or phase at the same time. So having multiple product phases being engaged in at the same time is this third generation of new product processing, which allows for different stages to overlap or a fuzzy gate process to take place. Third, the hallmark of being able to bring a product to the market quickly may involve the integration of the product into a portfolio of products that already exists. So in other words, I may create a product. However, the product may use some of the same raw materials or processes that might come off of the same production line, or may use the same employees or resources that I already have in place, so that I can maximize the benefit of those resources that I have by using it with multiple products. So any new product that's created would be sped up, the process would be sped up if I could use existing resources that I have. Fourth, a feature to consider is a product quality feature, or a TQM type of a feature, where if we have a focus on quality from the beginning, then the product that comes out at the end will always be better and most often will be accomplished in a faster rate and come out quicker than products where quality is not focused on right from the start. So quality tends to be a firm or organizational trait. And so if the firm or organization is focused on quality from the beginning, then it bleeds into and it gets integrated into the new product development process. So this concept of getting the product right the first time is in the nature of the organization that really puts quality at the forefront. Finally, we know that interfunctional or cross-functional teamwork is vitally important in the product development process. We know to create a product, everybody in the firm has a role to play in the new product and getting it produced and getting it developed. It's not just the role of a product developer or an engineer. It's not just the role of the operations people or from marketing or whatnot. It really takes the entire organization to work on the project at once in order for it to be done. So again, it's a hallmark of an organization that is able to accelerate the time the product takes to be developed. We actually have a term for this time. It's called cycle time. Cycle time is a term that we'll use that marks the beginning from when an idea is first generated to when the product launches or is commercialized in the marketplace. So our goal is to shorten our cycle time as much as possible, and these traits are traits that companies have that would indicate a fast turnaround of product development. Okay, so some additional concepts associated with bringing the product to market quickly would be the organization and the organizational structure of the firm and the culture that's associated with it, and whether the organization is prepared for change, organized for change, and able to adapt. Second would be the availability and the deployment of resources that would be needed in order to develop the new product, and be able to integrate those who are outside the firm into the decision-making process. So there are times when we want to be able to have our suppliers, for instance, help us develop product ideas as their supply of raw material is concerned with the new product. At the same time, we want to be able to incorporate the customer concepts, and what they want into the product as well. But overall, we want to think about how we're developing and committing our resources to be able to integrate these outside voices into our product development process. The better that we're able to do that, the fewer mistakes we'll make, and the better the product will be at meeting the customer demand once it's actually developed. Another aspect is to develop a firm that's focused on doing processes and bringing results to bear rapidly. So using technology to speed along processes, automate processes. Rapid manufacturing is another idea or concept. So the just-in-time delivery methods and requirements, and the quick, rapid manufacturing processes, being able to prototype rapidly and so forth, certainly develops a quickness and an adaptation to product development that suggests a rapid creation of a product and ultimate deployment. Included in that would be rapid marketing as well. So having a process in place where the marketing functions are routine, that they are regularly run, so ordering ads, placing ads, developing distributor relationships, creating packages, package designs, all of those types of things that we would do towards the development stage, and towards the launch stage of the product development process should be fairly routine. The more routine and the more processed they are, the quicker then the product can be developed and launched and so forth. So there are certainly aspects of the organization of the firm and the way the firm views processing that relate to how well they can bring a product out to the market. And this really deals again with accelerating cycle time or reducing cycle time so that the product can be produced, can be developed, can reach the market rapidly, and when a product is developed and brought to the market faster, we gain first mover advantages, we gain market share advantages and so forth over our competition. So there are real legitimate payoffs to having a rapid product development process in place. Key to having a process like this in place as well is this notion of firm innovation. So organizations are a collection of individuals, and so organizations will have a personality and a culture and an image all to themselves, and they typically reflect the individuals who are leading the organization or who are a part of the organization. So research has been done to develop different questions we could ask, or a series of questions or scales that we could form that would ask or measure how innovative a firm is, or how ready they are for change, and how proactive they would be in creating change within themselves, and then also with the products that they ultimately create. So here's a series of questions you could ask, and you could do this in your organization, a place where you currently work, or maybe where you might work in the future. If you want to get a feel for how innovative the firm is, you can ask how many how much is devoted to developing new business? Like how many resources, how much money, how much manpower is devoted to developing new, as opposed to sustaining an old business or maintaining old business patterns or models that they have. So are they thinking to change, thinking to create with new business models, and are they putting money behind it to do so? Another question one might ask is if the company encourages employees to try new ways to do their job. And so these are associated with process innovations. So how jobs are done would be something that we would ask. And would we be willing for our employees to create and develop new ways to do their own job? Also, we'd ask if our business practices are new and unlike what our competitors are doing. So are we following our competitors in how they do their business? Are we strictly following industry norms, or are we pioneers and setting new norms for the industry that others are beginning to follow because we're ahead of everybody else? That would be an innovative firm. So we might also ask similar question: our business practices, are they ahead of current trends in our industry? So again, are we being pioneers, or are we following trends that already exist? And then finally, we use the latest available technology to do our jobs. This is a question we could ask if we're utilizing technology, and if we're using technology to do things differently from how we have done things in the past. So firm innovativeness, these are questions we could ask, again, to measure how process innovative we are. And if you feel like you want to develop more innovation in your firm, you clearly look at these statements and look to bolster them, look to develop them further. In addition to process innovation, and in the context of this course, we might think of product innovation too. So there are certain things we may ask that are associated with product innovation, like we would ask if we're the type of firm that is likely to be first to the market with some type of a new product or service. Would we be, like among our competitors, would we be one of the first to innovate in a new way and bring a new product concept to our consumer? That would typically mean that we're really listening to the consumer and we're willing to adapt and change to their needs. Another statement that we could consider is if we would want to expand, would we look to expand in new products to sell, or would we look to new customers to sell to? So in other words, are we focused on developing new growth through product development or through market development? Those are two ways that a firm could grow. And the big question here is, do we see our growth happening as a result of the product offerings we have, or simply finding new customers to buy our products? A firm will typically do both of these simultaneously. However, the firm that's innovative from a product perspective will certainly have a strategy that involves new product development as a form of growth as they move forward. Third question or item we could ask is, again, a resource question that asks how many or to what extent we devote our money and our manpower and our resources to developing new products or services. And then finally, if given a choice, our firm would invest in a new product project rather than reinvesting in an existing product. So a couple growth strategies exist here. One includes a product development growth strategy where we're developing new products for the express purpose of gaining revenue. Or another idea is to maintain our same product portfolio and then just find new ways to sell more of this existing product. So those are two slightly different nuanced growth strategies. One, though, really focuses on this idea of developing new product, and thinking of the new product as an investment and a new cash flow, where the other one relies on an existing product, and it's called it's a penetration growth strategy is the name of it, and it really relies on this notion that we're happy with our current product portfolio. Let's find new customers, or let's sell more product to existing customers rather than reinvent ourselves. So that's like a counter reinvention type of a strategy. Anyways, at any rate, these are four statements or questions that you could ask, and combined with the prior 5 questions, you get a real good feel of how innovative a firm is and how ready and receptive they are to change and to creating change themselves. This is truly tied into how rapid you are in bringing a product to the market. So we're thinking about accelerating the product development process, but in order to do that, you think of a firm as being innovative, like we've talked about before, and this would be a good example of how we would identify an innovative versus a non-innovative firm. As I mentioned before, firms are created or developed, they're a compilation of individuals. So moving forward, we could also think of individuals as being innovative as well, and innovative people will generally lead to innovative firms. So if your organization struggles with innovation, one technique or strategy is to go out and to hire and recruit innovative people. So from a consumer perspective, one of the things that we measure are innovation and innovative consumers. And so there are a number of scales that can be used to measure this. Here's one 6-item scale where you could ask individuals these questions, and you could rate them on like a 1 to 7 scale from agree to disagree or something like that, where you can measure how innovative a person is by asking them how interested they are in buying new products as opposed to old existing products, whether they like to buy new and different products, whether newer products excite them, if they find them interesting, if the person feels like they're always one of the first to go try a new product, if they're a type of person who wants the very latest, newest version, or if among their friends and peers, they always seem to be the one with the most new product information, they want to buy new products first, and so forth. So a series of questions like these all together, do a really good job of measuring an individual's level of innovativeness. We know that innovative people tend to buy our products first. We also know that innovative people help drive innovation within a firm. So structurally within a firm, we can certainly create an atmosphere of innovation. It will certainly help, though, if within that atmosphere of innovation you have innovative people, and they will in turn help drive the innovation process. And assuming it's controlled and organized, you can bring products to market fairly rapidly. So to wrap this segment up, the big takeaways here are to know that firms want to accelerate the new product development process to eliminate or to minimize what we call cycle time. And so we want to create a process or a system where we can design products quickly. We know that firm and personal innovativeness are things that can be measured, and that these measurements again help us develop products in a unique way, and they help firms become leaders as opposed to followers if that's a strategy they want to follow. So a couple questions to think about. As you think about this material, retrospect and kind of consider for yourself if you're in an employment situation, the firm that you work for, or the organization that you work in, you can think about how innovative they are based on the questions that were presented earlier. If you were to ask people in your firm to answer these questions, how process or product innovative do you feel your organization is? This could also work if you've worked in a business or an organization in the past, or if you're interviewing and thinking about a new organization to work for, consider asking these types of questions of your new employer during an interview process. So by doing that, you get a real good feel for the type of organization you're going into, and they also actually work as very good counter interview questions when you're being when you're going through that process and you're investigating and learning about the organization that's there. The other question here is to again think about yourself and look at that bank of 6 questions and kind of gauge your own innovativeness on, kind of think about how innovative you personally are. And if you want to become more innovative, there are certainly things to consider that are linked to those questions and how anxious you are to try new things, different things, things that are outside your comfort zone, new products, and so forth. Okay, so this wraps up this segment that deals with speeding up the product and product development process.